Journey back in time to the chill of the Ice Age, where civilization first sparked amidst frosty winds and woolly mammoths. Discover the resilience of early humanity in a world encased in ice. Welcome to TopThangs, where history's mysteries come to life. Today we're embarking on a journey back to the Ice Age, exploring a theory that challenges everything we know about ancient civilizations. Could advanced societies have thrived during the frigid expanse of the last glacial period? Join us as we uncover clues hidden in ice and time. The Ice Age civilization theory. The notion of advanced ancient civilizations predating recorded history has long captured the human imagination. Myths and legends across cultures contain cryptic references to bygone societies boasting sophisticated technology and esoteric wisdom. In modern times, the intriguing possibility of forgotten antediluvian cultures has inspired both scientific investigation and speculative fiction. One particularly fascinating variant of this premise is the Ice Age civilization hypothesis. Proponents of this theory contend that human societies reaching an advanced stage of development existed during the last glacial period, which spanned roughly 110,000 to 12,000 years ago. As the planet underwent dramatic cooling, ice sheets expanded and sea levels dropped, radically reshaping geography. Adherents argue that traces of sophisticated Ice Age cultures were preserved amidst glaciers, coastal areas flooded by rising seas, and other inhospitable environments. Intriguing evidence scattered across the globe hints at advanced Ice Age civilizations, though mainstream archaeology remains skeptical. We will explore the Ice Age civilization theory, examining key locations, influential researchers, speculative hypotheses, and debates surrounding evidence. This inquiry offers a window into ancient mysteries while illuminating archaeology's evolving efforts to reconstruct forgotten chapters of human history. Origins of the theory. Notions of lost Ice Age civilizations first emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, interleaving with other unconventional theories involving Atlantis, Lemuria, and extraterrestrial influences. Helena Blavatsky, co-founder of the occult movement Theosophy, referred to a mystical southern continent called Lemuria that supposedly sunk below the Indian Ocean 80,000 years ago when Atlantis was at its peak. Some theorists linked Lemuria and Atlantis to advanced Ice Age cultures, drawing on mythic references to sunken lands and lost wisdom traditions. In the 1880s, Ignatius Donnelly published Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, arguing for a technologically sophisticated Atlantis that met its demise amidst cataclysms ending the last Ice Age. Donnelly's work helped inspire Edgar Cayce, a famous American mystic who gave trance readings describing advanced Atlantean technologies like air travel, telepathy, and crystal-powered energy systems. He situated Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean with an Ice Age defeat around 10,000 BCE due to conflicts over dangerous crystalline energy technologies. Unorthodox archaeologist Augustus Le Plongeon proposed an ancient civilization on the Yucatan Peninsula called Mayax, which supposedly flourished during the Ice Age until destroyed by seismic upheavals linked to retreating glaciers. Le Plongeon uncovered Mayan ruins during the late 19th century and controversially claimed Mayan civilization descended from refugee survivors of Mayax who preserved their Ice Age predecessors' teachings. His work attempted to forge direct links between Ice Age cultures, Atlantis myths, and Mesoamerican civilizations. In the early 20th century, British mystic James Churchward asserted that a technologically sophisticated Ice Age civilization called Mu existed in the Pacific Ocean until its destruction around 12,000 BCE, relying on supposed secret Nacl tablets in India and Mexico. Churchward's Mu theory directly influenced later speculation about Ice Age civilizations, including proposals of prehistoric Pacific cultures with advanced religious, artistic, and engineering sophistication. These occult concepts from Blavatsky, Donnelly, Cayce, Le Plongeon, and Churchward helped lay the groundwork for more systematic scientific study of potential Ice Age civilizations in the mid-late 20th century. Their fusion of mythology, mysticism, and fringe archaeology sparked lasting public interest in the topic alongside skepticism from conventional science. But the notion was just speculative fiction until evidence started emerging of intriguing Ice Age anomalies. Key researchers and sites. In the 1950s, Romanian archaeologist Nicolae Vlasa discovered an Ice Age figurine carved from mammoth tusk in Transylvania, representing a seated woman with braided hair wearing woven clothing. Outlining advanced techniques involved, Vlasa proposed the sophisticated artifact implied an organized, stable culture with developed artistic and technical skills that inhabited Central Europe over 35,000 years ago. The Vlasa findings helped inspire a new generation of research on potential high culture among early Ice Age humans. In the 1960s, American professor Albert Goodyear began extensively excavating the Topper site in South Carolina, spending decades uncovering evidence of human habitation stretching back 50,000 years ago, including advanced stone tools and carvings of mastodons. Goodyear argued Topper showed Ice Age hunter-gatherers were far more sophisticated than believed, with deliberate digging techniques to extract high-quality stone and evidence of wood and stone structures indicating substantial permanent settlements. He conjectured that more advanced Ice Age civilizations may yet await discovery, perhaps offshore due to rising sea levels. Meanwhile, in Russia, geologist Alexander Chuvairov was investigating the shores of Lake Baikal, the world's largest freshwater lake, when he encountered the famous Shagir idol in a peat bog in 1889, an intricately carved wooden pillar radiocarbon dated to 11,000 BCE. Chuvairov dedicated his career to studying the sophisticated carvings and symbols on the Shagir idol, arguing they implied an advanced Ice Age culture in Siberia. The idol is now widely seen as demonstrating high artistic, engineering, and symbolic complexity among Ice Age hunter-gatherers. In the 1990s, marine archaeologist Robert Sarmast led expeditions off the coast of Cuba exploring unusual structures under nearly a half-mile of water. Employing sonar scans and robotic submarines, Sarmast identified immense rectangular stone formations resembling streets, platforms, pyramids, and walls over 20 square miles, which he argues are remnants of a submerged Ice Age civilization, likely dated 15,000 to 18,000 BCE when sea levels were low due to extensive glaciation. Mainstream archaeology remains skeptical of his claims, though expeditions continue to map more fascinating structures encrusted with corals below the Gulf of Mexico. Building on earlier work by Casey and others, American archaeologist Gregory Little led an expedition in the early 2000s exploring underwater limestone caves off the Bahamas coast, believed submerged since the end of the Ice Age. Little contends they discovered granite architectural ruins, arranged stones and unusual shaped platforms deep inside flooded caves, interpreting these as remnants of sophisticated buildings constructed during the Ice Age before rising seas inundated the caves. However, his findings remain controversial. The Yonaguni Monument off Japan has also attracted speculation about Ice Age civilizations since being discovered in the mid-1980s. Marine geologist Masaaki Kimura argues this large underwater rock formation with right angles, steps, and markings was clearly man-made, dating back to the last glacial period when it would have been above water. Other geologists attribute the geometric patterns to natural rock fracturing and erosion, denying it as human architecture. But Kimura maintains the unique monument offers evidence of a small but organized Ice Age settlement with primitive engineering capabilities along an ancient Pacific coastline. These researchers represent pioneering efforts to systematically identify and excavate sites where Ice Age cultures potentially left remains, whether artifacts, structures, or modified landscapes. Concentrated in coastal zones, flooded cave systems, and formerly glaciated regions, traces of advanced Ice Age societies may await discovery in areas deeply transformed during the last glacial maximum. Ongoing work explores this possibility, pushing back the frontiers of prehistory. Key locations and sites. In addition to the pioneering sites already mentioned, other intriguing locations have been proposed as hosting remains of lost Ice Age civilizations, spurring archaeological interest and public imagination despite limited systematic excavation so far. Doggerland in the North Sea has been repeatedly identified as a potential hotspot. Connecting Britain to Europe during the Ice Age when sea levels were over 400 feet lower, some speculate Doggerland may have hosted Neolithic settlements before being flooded between 18,000 and 5,500 BCE. Fishermen have retrieved advanced Ice Age tools from Doggerland sediments. While not proven, the exposed continental shelf of Doggerland remains a prime location to search for submerged Ice Age sites. In Indonesia, the Gunung Padang megalithic site has inspired claims of ancient Ice Age settlements. In this region, researchers discovered extensive volcanic stone structures arranged in terraces and chambers, with carbon dating on organic material below the megaliths pointing towards construction during the Ice Age. However, most geologists attribute the site to natural hill formations, denying it provides evidence of human civilization over 10,000 years ago, let alone Ice Age cultures. Nonetheless, Gunung Padang remains an important site in assessing potential signs of advanced ancient cultures in Indonesia. Bimini Road off the Bahamas coast comprises rows of rectangular limestone blocks found at shallow depths, which some argue constituted a harbor or walls from an Ice Age settlement submerged by rising seas. However, most geologists insist these blocks are naturally fractured beach rock formations. Though Bimini Road's location on the exposed coastal plain makes it a promising locale to search for submerged archaeological remains from before the Holocene sea level rise, traces of possible Ice Age civilization have been preliminarily identified across coastal India. Marine archaeologists have discovered unusual geometric rock formations, wedge-shaped structures, and patterns of grooves and recesses with unclear origins submerged underwater at depths of 100-150 feet offshore Dwarka, Gulf of Cambay, and Pumpuhar. While inconclusive, these anomalous findings deserve systematic investigation to determine if any indications of Ice Age settlement survive off India's ancient coastlines. Finally, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey hosts elaborately carved stone pillars dating back to at least the younger Dryas period around 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last Ice Age. The stunning scale and intricacy of artifacts at Göbekli Tepe have led many to contend sophisticated artistic and engineering skills required in organized Ice Age society predating the Neolithic Revolution. The site provides perhaps the strongest evidence of high cultural complexity among Ice Age peoples, seeding the origins of civilization before climate stabilization allowed agriculture. Though mainstream archaeology favors gradual development, Göbekli Tepe's sudden flourishing around the Pleistocene-Holocene boundary indicates missing links in our knowledge of Ice Age cultures. From Doggerland's frozen tundra to Göbekli Tepe's Neolithic monuments, this small sample of sites displays the geographic and chronological breadth in tracing clues of potential forgotten Ice Age civilizations across continents and millennia. Concentrated in today's coastal zones, the premises of such societies likely now rest deep underwater or beneath vast ice sheets, still concealing profound mysteries. Key evidence and debates. Despite increasing archaeological interest, the Ice Age civilization hypothesis remains controversial. Conventional chronologies see human societies evolving gradually from primitive hunter-gatherers to Neolithic farming villages and eventually the first great Bronze Age civilizations emerging around 5,000 years ago. Radiocarbon dating clearly places the first monumental architecture and signs of cultural complexity after the Pleistocene in this standard narrative. The recent African origin model claims anatomically modern humans first evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago before migrating outward in small groups, reaching Europe and Asia by 60,000 years ago. With dispersed populations, scarce resources, and migratory lifestyles amidst extreme glaciation, mainstream science argues complex civilization was implausible until the warm stability of the Holocene. However, sites like Göbekli Tepe and Pumapunku reveal striking levels of craftsmanship, engineering, and abstraction thousands of years before the accepted timeline, seeded during deglaciation. Oral histories and mythologies of ancient peoples worldwide contain persistent references to lost ancestral civilizations, forgotten knowledge, and catastrophic endings that could plausibly describe prehistoric events like meteorite impacts or post-Ice Age flooding. This forms the basis of Ice Age civilization theories, scattered evidence and legend pointing to forgotten peoples in periods and places where little archaeological investigation has occurred. Three broad categories of evidence provide clues in this investigation. Anomalous ruins and artifacts inconsistent with conventional timelines, like the stunning complexity of Göbekli Tepe predating agriculture. The engineered precision of Pumapunku's stonework and failure to find Roman precedents for ancient Greek developments likewise challenge gradualism. Sophisticated artifacts dated to Ice Age contexts like intricate stone carvings and woven clothing undermine notions of simple hunter-gatherer lifestyles. Geographic patterns like recurring traces of unknown origin in coastal zones or formerly glaciated areas suggest the possibility of lost habitats. The global ubiquity of flood myths implies shared memories of post-glacial sea level rise. Why would so many diverse cultures retain these similar archetypal stories of antediluvian catastrophe across thousands of miles and years? Perhaps they echo a traumatic inundation event endured by Ice Age precursor societies. Oral histories and myths frequently reference earlier lost civilizations, cyclic time, and forgotten ancestral knowledge, often tied to geological disasters like floods. Do these stories simply represent mythical archetypes of human antiquity? Or could they encode folk memories of actual prehistoric events witnessed by cultures worldwide? While inconclusive, recurrent motifs hint at forgotten history. Proponents argue this body of evidence justifies further investigation, even if far from definitive proof. They accuse conventional academics of rigidly excluding challenges to established chronology models rather than encouraging multidisciplinary, open-minded inquiry. Skeptics in turn criticize sensationalist speculation about Atlantis and extraterrestrials while dismissing the mega-engineering feats of Ice Age peoples. Often the debate becomes polarized between orthodox gradualism and fringe theories of lost supercivilizations like Atlantis, but a middle path remains open, systematically investigating whether organized, complex, and technically skilled Ice Age cultures laid foundations for later fluorescence during the Neolithic Revolution. Finds like Göbekli Tepe show our species intellectually capable of such sophistication during the late Pleistocene. Rather than cycles of technological ascent and collapse, human advancement may have been more gradual, uneven, and complex. Pockets of precocious development may have arisen, been destroyed, and seeded further innovation amidst broad tribal networks. Open-minded and rigorous inquiry into sites like Doggerland, Dwarka, or Lake Baikal could uncover hard evidence delivering breakthroughs. Even lacking surviving structures, advanced cultures may still be detectable through excavated toolkits, waste sites, environmental manipulation, skeletal remains, artistic artifacts, and genetic analysis. We may stand at the edge of rediscovering entire Ice Age societies that fled northward or found their homelands flooded beneath rising seas. Presumed primitive periods may turn out to hold more complexity than pictured in standard models. The objective, caring search for lost Ice Age civilizations promises to reveal more accurate and exciting prehistories rather than dogmatic defense of entrenched chronologies. The field needs judicious experts willing to follow unexpected evidence trails wherever they lead. Even if claims of high Atlantis-like culture prove exaggerated, excavating forgotten developmental origins of civilization before the thaw of the younger Dryas promises immense revelations about our deep human heritage. We should proceed with open minds but rigorous standards, neither rejecting unorthodox possibilities nor making exaggerated claims. Let objective evidence guide the search into those long frozen mists. The mysterious younger Dryas. Any discussion of Ice Age civilizations inevitably arrives at the pivotal Younger Dryas climate period, dated roughly 12,900 to 11,600 years ago. Named after a cold-tolerant Arctic flower, this 1,300-year interval witnessed a striking reversal of deglaciation. As Earth emerged from the depths of the Ice Age, progressing towards warmer Holocene conditions, temperatures suddenly plummeted back to near glacial levels around 12,900 BCE. This cold snap lasted over a millennium before the final thawing of the great ice sheets. In North America, the Younger Dryas coincided with extinction of the iconic Pleistocene megafauna, including mammoths, giant sloths, and saber-toothed cats. It also disrupted the sophisticated Clovis big game hunting culture, centered on exquisitely crafted fluted spear points. In Europe, massive cold-weather animal populations like reindeer shifted southward, undermining late Paleolithic hunting cultures. But after this bitter freeze, the climate stabilized into warm Holocene conditions ideal for plant domestication and rise of the earliest farming villages and proto-cities. This mysterious reversal in Earth's warming has inspired many theories about cataclysmic events, precipitating a sudden Ice Age resurgence, followed by accelerated warming as the ice sheets collapsed. Proposed triggers range from meteorite impacts to solar flares disrupting the climate system. But one of the most intriguing drivers proposed involves the ancient Lake Agassiz, covering much of Canada during deglaciation. This massive proglacial lake formed from ice sheet meltwater. Around 13,000 years ago, retreating glaciers opened an outlet channel releasing Lake Agassiz, allowing it to catastrophically drain into the North Atlantic. Scientists increasingly believe this huge influx of frigid freshwater disrupted North Atlantic ocean currents and wind systems, affecting global climate. By slowing the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, the Lake Agassiz outburst triggered immediate cooling, culminating in younger Dryas conditions before warmer cycles resumed. This event profoundly impacted cold-adapted late Paleolithic peoples while triggering mass extinctions in North America. While still debated, it appears this dramatic episode of climate chaos initiated the close of the Ice Age, pivotal in human cultural evolution. Intriguingly, Lake Agassiz's outburst aligning closely with onset of the Younger Dryas provides a plausible driver for cataclysm myths noted by Ice Age civilization theorists. Legends of an antediluvian cleansing flood sent by angry gods are ubiquitous worldwide. This is conventionally interpreted as archetypal mythology or exaggerated memories of localized floods. But the draining of Lake Agassiz was truly a flood of epic proportions with hemispheric climate impacts. Could myths like Noah's flood contain metaphorized folk memories of rapid sea level rise and glacier lake outburst flooding that so impacted Ice Age peoples? Rather than purely symbolic narratives, core elements align with a known climate-shifting deluge. Of course, myths greatly exaggerate the scale, recasting history as moral allegory, but a kernel of truth may lurk. Dim memories carried through generations of the terrible floods that drowned the mammoths, chilled the planet, and made refugees of Ice Age tribes retreating south as environments changed. Whether this catastrophe destroyed high Ice Age civilizations remains speculative, but the Younger Dryas was clearly a pivotal episode for late Pleistocene cultures facing climate chaos. In North America, Clovis big game hunting declined, but in the Levant, the Natufian culture arose just as the chill set in, settled foragers transitioning towards agriculture as warmer and wetter conditions followed. Crucially, as Natufian villages proliferated, final construction phases at Göbekli Tepe overlapped the Younger Dryas before its abandonment. This supports hypotheses that Göbekli Tepe was a ritual complex of mammoth hunter peoples left behind as retreating ice sheets disrupted migrations, forcing cultural adaptation. As climate catastrophes ended the Ice Age, flooding coastal habitats and stressing big game hunters, we see signs of cultural acceleration. Sophisticated peoples in Southwest Asia built monumental sites like Göbekli Tepe, while foraging cultures elsewhere were displaced by rising seas and altered ecosystems. Legends like Atlantis may carry moralized echoes of this traumatic transformation recorded by later cultures inheriting fragments of nearly forgotten prehistory. Rather than cyclic collapse, the close of the Pleistocene marked a transitional bottleneck as some groups declined and others charted new directions, setting the stage for the Neolithic Revolution. The Younger Dryas thus represents a pivotal window into Ice Age/post-Ice Age cultural transitions and potential forgotten precursors. Climate upheaval aligned with massive cultural changes and extinctions. Mega flood outbursts initiated world-altering warming amidst stretched social networks and dislocated ancestral traditions. If complex Ice Age societies existed, the centuries around the Younger Dryas's onset were likely their downfall. But investigating traces of their presence promises a richer understanding of this climatic inflection point that gave rise to our modern world. This deep dive illuminates why the hypnotic possibility of lost Ice Age civilizations continues inspiring investigation. Tantalizing evidence scattered worldwide hints at forgotten complex cultures thriving during the Pleistocene's colder millennia, remnants buried along ancient coastlines and beneath vanished glaciers. Independent invention of agriculture and monumental architecture seem improbable without precursors. Persistent mythology whispers of lost ancestral wisdom. Emerging sites like Göbekli Tepe already indicate more advanced Ice Age capabilities than assumed. Much evidence remains ambiguous, with conventional explanations insufficiently challenged by speculative conjectures. But room for open-minded inquiry persists, employing fast-evolving techniques from archaeology, geology, genetics, and climatology. What forgotten societies await discovery below the waves and ice? This ongoing search connects us to humanity's misty prehistory, shedding light on the wellsprings of civilization. Even modest finds would profoundly expand existing knowledge. At the close of the Pleistocene, extreme climate shifts utterly transformed societies and geographies. Cultures became imperiled or displaced as habitats rapidly changed in the churn of melting glaciers and rising seas. Some adapted more successfully than others to new environments ideally suited for domestication, tools shipment, and communal living. But most evidence of this pivotal transition has been erased. Reconstructing its central mystery remains archaeology's great challenge. Delving into the possibility of complex cultures during the last glacial maximum provides a compass guiding us deeper into the past. By patiently investigating anomalous evidence without preconception, we move closer to unveiling our forgotten inheritance. Though the truth likely differs from mythic tropes, revelations await beneath the frozen earth, flowing tides and endless stars, retaining memories witnessed when ice gripped the world. The quest continues. Reflecting on the Ice Age civilization theory, we confront a fascinating blend of archaeology, mythology, and speculation. This theory not only reshapes our understanding of human history but also challenges our perception of technological and cultural progress. What if these ancient Ice Age civilizations were more advanced than we ever imagined? Could their legacies be submerged beneath the seas or locked within glacial relics? We invite you to join the debate. Do these theories hold water, or are they merely captivating tales from our frosty past? Dive into the discussion in the comments and help chart the course for our next historical adventure. As we wrap up our exploration of the Ice Age civilization theory, we're left pondering the enigmas of our planet's past. What secrets do the glaciers and ancient coastlines hold? Could advanced cultures have flourished and faded into history's shadows? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you're hungry for more historical mysteries, let us know what enigmas you want TopThangs to unravel next. Remember, the past may be frozen in time, but our quest for knowledge never stops. Like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling dives into history's hidden depths. Sources: Fagan, Brian, Clovis Point, Encyclopedia Britannica, 2022, Greshko Michael. Younger Dryas, Encyclopedia Britannica, 2022, Griffiths Seren. Doggerland, the European Atlantis that sunk beneath the waves 8,000 years ago. Ancient Origins, the 29th of September 2021, Hurst K. Chris, Göbekli Tepe. Archaeology Thought Co., the 14th of February 2020, History.com editors, Younger Dryas, History.com, A and E Television Networks, the 9th of November 2009, Little, Gregory L. Ice Age Mariners from North America, Mysterious Origins of Man, 2005, Martin Thomas. Ancient Lemuria and the Lemurians, Ancient Origins, the 14th of July 2013, Oppenheimer Stephen, Eden in the East, Drowned Continent of Southeast Asia, Phoenix, 1999. Rumor, Thomas A. et al. The Lake Agassiz Younger Dryas Cooling Hypothesis fails climatic field tests. Nature, Volume 598, number 7880, 2021, 242-247, Sarmast Robert Director, Discovery of Atlantis, The Startling Case for the Island of Cyprus, Avalon Media Group, 2021, film, Zarella John, Evidence Aquatic Stonehenge Built by Ancient Civilization, CNN Cable News Network, the 2nd of October, 2021.